Stop. Put your thumb down. Don't scroll, just for one breath. Chances are you were already moving away from this video the moment it began. That urge to skip, to swipe, to keep hunting for the next shiny thing is not harmless. It's a pattern, a frequency. And for most people, that pattern runs their life. What if that impulsive scroll is the very signal keeping your biggest desires out of reach? What if the tiny reflex to move on is the same energy that pulls opportunity away? This isn't spiritual fluff. It's practical. It's biological. It's how attention and energy actually shape what shows up for you. Here's the blunt version. Most of what people call manifestation fails because it mistakes information for transformation. You can watch 100 videos, copy 10 rituals, and still wake up in the same story. Why? Because inspiration without integration is entertainment. Ideas without embodiment are background noise. The universe, call it the field, call it reality, responds to your state, not your list of desires. Think of your attention like a radio signal. When you're constantly seeking, your signal is static, scattered, loud, unclear. The field hears that static and sends back more static. The result? More chasing, more almosts, more getting close, but not quite. That's what I call the seeking frequency. It feels urgent and productive, but it broadcasts lack. It says, I don't have it yet, so I must keep searching. And the field answers in kind. Now pause again. Take a slow breath with me. Put a hand on your heart. Quiet your mind for 10 seconds. Feel the difference? This simple pause flips a switch. It moves your system out of grasping and into receiving. It's not mystical. It's physiological. Consciously slowing your breath calms your nervous system. It creates coherence between heart and brain. It clears the static on your signal. Here's the first practical shift. And it's ridiculously simple. The next time you feel the urge to scroll away, stop for exactly 60 seconds. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe. Whisper to yourself, I am ready to receive. Say it once. No manifesto, no heavy intention, just, I am ready to receive. Do this each time that reflex appears for 3 days. That's your experiment. Not to prove some grand claim, but to notice small changes. Watch how conversations arrive at the right time. Watch how an answer appears when you're not frantically looking. Watch how a resource, an idea, or a person steps into your path. These are the field's gentle replies when your signal clears. Why does this tiny practice work? Because in quantum terms, the observer affects the observed. Your energetic state, the thing you are broadcasting, influences which possibilities collapse into your life. Constant seeking broadcasts a frequency of lack. Conscious stopping broadcasts readiness. Different broadcasts equal different outcomes. Most people are trying to manifest from the level of thought. I want this. I want that. But thought is noisy. Deep intelligence speaks in whispers, subtle nudges, gut knows, little pullings toward things that don't make sense at first. You only hear whispers when you stop shouting inside your head. Here's a micro-engagement. Right now, in the comments below, type one word that describes what you're secretly wanting most. Just one word, no explanation. That tiny public act does two things. It anchors your attention, and it broadcasts your readiness. It's small, viral friendly, and it builds momentum. Notice something. Stopping is not passive. It's a deliberate interruption of momentum. It's an act of courage to not chase the next dopamine hit. It's a decision to let life meet you. When you interrupt the seeking loop, you begin to feel the alternative, the receiving loop. And that's where real shifts begin. You don't need another technique. You need to break one habit, the compulsion to fix everything by moving. Movement isn't the problem. Movement without landing is. The power comes when your movement is matched by moments of stillness that allow what you've already called into being to actually arrive. So, for this section, commit to the 60-second stop. Try it once now. Breathe. Place your hand on your heart. Say, I am ready to receive. That's the practice. Small, repeatable, shareable. If you do it and something shifts, even in a tiny way, comment below what changed. Small stories spark curiosity. Curiosity attracts others. And when others try it and report back, the idea spreads. That's how practices go viral. They're simple, repeatable, and produce tiny wins people want to share. One last thing before we move deeper. This is not about denying desire. It's about changing the posture with which you hold desire. Desire is not the problem. The posture of desperation is. When you shift the posture from grasping to readiness, the field responds. You stop exhausting yourself, trying to pull things toward you, and start aligning to receive what's already forming. Keep that hand on your heart for a moment longer. Breathe. Feel the slight quiet that arrives. That quiet is your signal clearing. That quiet is where possibilities begin to condense into reality. Ready? We're just getting started. Quick recap. You paused, you breathed, you felt the difference. Good. Now we move into the practical meat. 3 simple quantum shifts you can use immediately to change the way the field responds to you. Quantum Shift 2. Morning presence, 60 seconds that change your day. Before you touch your phone, before you check a message or open a tab, sit up in bed and do this. Place your left hand on your chest, your right hand on your belly. Breathe deeply for 60 seconds. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6. As you breathe, say silently, I am here. That's it. Why this works. Brief, embodied stillness sets the tone for your nervous system. It announces to your body and to the field, you're present, you're coherent, you're not running. Over a week, this tiny 60-second habit shifts how you respond to opportunities. You begin to notice the right openings, not because they're louder, but because you're listening. Micro challenge, do this each morning for 7 days. In the comments, write the day number and one small difference you noticed, even if it's only a clearer thought or a kinder tone in a conversation. That little public log creates accountability and makes this repeatable and shareable. Quantum Shift 3. Respond to the whisper. Act before your mind talks you out of it. Whispers are not drama. They're short, quiet cues. A nudge to message someone, a pull to enroll, a sudden thought to say yes. They feel different from mental chatter, more like knowing than thinking. Practice this protocol when a whisper hits. Stop whatever mental loop you're in. Ask your body, where do I feel that? Notice it physically. Take one small, immediate action. Send the text, click submit, book 1 ticket, type 5 words. Do it within 5 minutes. Why 5 minutes? Because the mind loves to elaborate reasons not to. Acting fast that builds trust in your inner guide. Small actions compound into a new pattern of responsiveness. Viral hook. Try this now. If you feel a whisper at any point in the next hour, act on it. Then come back and type, I acted. That short public accountability is contagious. Others will try it to see what happens. How to spot the difference between a whisper and a wishy-washy thought. Whisper. Calm, clear, slightly insistent, repeats gently. Noise. Anxious, repetitive, urgent, full of what-ifs. If it's a whisper, treat it like a tiny instruction from the deeper you. If it's noise, treat it like data. Observe it, then return to breath. Make the practices bite-sized and viral-friendly. 60-second pause. Share this as a story or clip. Caption: stop scrolling, breathe for 60 seconds. Whisper. Challenge: post a 15-second clip saying, I acted on a whisper today, and tag one friend who needs permission to move. One word. Check in. Every evening, write one word that describes how your day felt after you stopped versus before. One word is easy to comment, easy to share, easy to copy. Tiny story that shows the pattern a client felt stuck despite every technique in her toolbox. She started the morning 60-second practice and forced herself to act on one whisper a week. Small things, a conversation starter, an email, a class sign-up. Within 2 months, a chance introduction led to a collaboration she never expected. It didn't look like her original plan. It looked better. The steps weren't dramatic, they were consistent. That's the pattern. Small, repeated clarity beats grand, scattered effort. Integration habit, daily 3-minute review. At night, take 3 minutes and ask, when did I feel pulled to act, and did I? What small synchronicity happened today? What did I learn about my whispers? Write one line, short, honest. This creates feedback loops that train your attention to notice coherence. Over time, your signal grows stronger and clearer. Leverage social momentum. Public commitments amplify private change. When you type one word, when you post, "I acted," when you tag a friend, you don't just hold yourself accountable, you create a ripple. People try small things because someone else did. That's how ideas spread. They're doable, repeatable, and worth sharing. Objections you'll have, and how to handle them. I don't have time. You have time for 60 seconds. This is not added busyness. It's a recalibration that saves time later. What if the whisper leads to a mistake? Small actions limit fallout. Mistakes are data, not destiny. The real cost is never trying. I'm skeptical. Perfect. Treat it like an experiment. No faith required. Just try the 7-day morning plus act on whisper combo and notice what changes. What to expect realistically. Don't look for overnight miracles. Look for micro shifts, a conversation that opens when you need it, a resource appearing at the right time, a clearer sense of direction. These subtle changes are the field answering a clearer signal. Over months, micro shifts compound into a different story. Shareable prompts to spark engagement. Use one now. Comment the one word that describes what you want most. If you tried the 60-second pause today, drop ready below. Tag one person who needs permission to stop chasing and listen. These prompts are short and sticky, perfect for comments and shares. Prepare for resistance. Your environment, friends, and habits will push you back into seeking. That's normal. Don't make resistance a moral failing. It's a sensor. Notice it, name it, then do the 60-second stop. Each time you return, you strengthen the muscle. Next, we'll move past practices into identity, how to stop manifesting from your personality and start creating through your deeper nature, the place where purpose, not just wants, emerges. You'll learn how to detect when your ego is steering and how to recenter in the morphic intelligence that actually knows what will serve your evolution. Hold that readiness. Keep practicing. And if you've taken any action in the past hour, small or big, type, "I acted." It matters more than you think. You're not trying to become perfect. You're trying to become honest. That's the difference. Most people try to manifest from their personality, the part that wants status, safety, and neat answers. That's like trying to navigate with a flashlight when there's a lighthouse inside you. Your personality is useful for everyday choices, but it's limited. Deeper than that is an intelligence that knows what will actually help you grow, heal, and thrive. It speaks in nudges, not headlines. It doesn't shout, it whispers. Here's the clean distinction. Personality, ors, plans, preferences, fear-driven goals. Deeper intelligence, thus coherence, alignment, long-view wisdom. And yes, sometimes the deeper guidance will ask for decisions that don't make sense to your personality. That's the point. Your personality wants guarantees. Your deeper self wants evolution. So, how do you tell them apart? Use this 3-step filter every time an idea hits you. Feel it first. Pause and scan your body. Whispers land in the chest, throat, or a quiet knowing in the bones. Thoughts live in the head and loop. Check tone. Whispers feel calm, clear, and slightly insistent. Noise is loud, panicked, and full of should. Test with a tiny action. If it's a whisper, do something small within 5 minutes. If it's noise, log it and return to breath. That tiny action is the trust builder. It rewires your nervous system to take guidance seriously. Each small yes makes the next whisper louder and the noise quieter. Now, a short story. The kind that spreads because it feels true. A man had everything his culture told him to want. Money, clout, a tidy plan. But he woke each morning numb. A quiet pull nudged him toward working with children who had trauma. His ego screamed, "You'll lose everything." He started tiny. One volunteer shift, one conversation. Months of small, awkward steps followed. It didn't look like success at first. It looked like a mess. Then doors opened. Funding arrived. His previous work began to bend in service of this new purpose. The thing that felt like a mistake became the thing that healed him. People love this story because it's the opposite of overnight success. It's human, vulnerable, and believable. That's what makes it shareable. Here's your next practice. Identity check in 60 seconds. When a big decision appears, ask aloud, who is deciding? If the answer sounds like fear, comparison, or someone else's expectations, Pause. If the answer feels like curiosity, care, or deep yes, no clarity, move forward with a small action. Make this public friendly. Film a 10-15-second clip saying, "Who is deciding for me right now?" Post it, tag one friend. Short, personal, and provokes curiosity. Perfect for shares and stitches. Expect detours. The whispers rarely give you a complete map. They give you the next step. Sometimes the next step looks like failure. Sometimes it looks like chaos. That's normal. Trust is built in tiny, repetitive choices, not dramatic leaps. Every small action you take in the direction of a whisper becomes calibration data for the field and for you. When the path gets messy, use this 3-part recovery. Breathe for 60 seconds. Hand on heart. Recenter. Name the felt sense. This feels like fear, or this feels like guidance. Take one tiny corrective action, a text, a reschedule, a short apology, or a single note in your journal. Now, the social experiment I want you to try, it's designed to go viral because it's simple and shareable. In the comments right now, type one short line, "I will act on one whisper this week." That's it. No explanation, just that declaration. Then do the smallest possible thing that fulfills it. Come back and comment, "Done." These 2 short actions, declare and report, create micro-commitments that prompt others to copy. That's how habits spread. Another short social prompt you can use. Record a 10-second video that says, "I trusted a whisper, and here's one small result." Keep it raw. Keep it real. People share authenticity, not polish. Let's address the fear. What if I make the wrong choice? Small actions minimize cost. Mistakes give feedback. The cost of not trying is a longer, quieter regret. That's not dramatic, but it's real. The real risk is postponing the life you sense you're meant for in favor of safety. Identity shift exercise. 5 minutes, daily, for 7 days. Write, "Who am I when I'm not performing?" One sentence. Underline the first word you wrote. That's your anchor. Carry that word as a 1-word check before each decision for the day. This tiny habit refocuses your choices away from external approval and toward internal coherence. It's private, powerful, and shareable as a screenshot or story slide. A quick myth buster. Authentic living doesn't mean doing everything you feel like. It means aligning your action with a deeper reference point than ego. You'll still set boundaries, plan, and think strategically. You'll just do these things from a place that feels whole, not fractured. Now, a short, viral-ready challenge. Film yourself saying, "I trusted a whisper, and it led to, yaors, a horror." Fill the blank with one phrase, a meeting, a new friend, a project, a lesson. Tag one person who needs permission to try the whisper experiment. Keep it under 20 seconds. Raw, specific, shareable. Finally, name one pattern you're ready to release. Type it in the comments as a single short sentence. The act of naming shrinks the pattern's power, and public naming creates a wave. Other people see it and feel permission to let go too. This work isn't about flashy results. It's about quiet reclamation. Bit by bit, the field tunes to a clearer signal. Your life aligns not because you trick the world, but because you become the kind of person who can hold what you call in. Make one tiny choice now. Name a pattern. Take one small action on a whisper. Then tell us, one line, "I acted." Short, honest, viral ready. You're learning to stop treating life like a checklist and start moving with its pulse. That pulse is what I call flow state as a natural rhythm. Not an occasional peak, but the baseline you live from when your inner and outer timing sync. Flow isn't hype, it's alignment. Timing, energy, and action lining up so things move with less friction and more intelligence. Here's the simplest way to feel the difference. Have you ever noticed a conversation that lands perfectly? The exact thing you needed to hear, because you were quiet enough to listen. That's flow. Or a project that solved itself once you stopped forcing it and let people and conditions rearrange around the right next step. That's flow. The more you cultivate moments of reception, the more those moments compound into a rhythm where right time action becomes obvious. Let's make flow practical. 3 practices that fold right into your day and make your timing feel instinctive. The midday reset, 90 seconds to recalibrate. Halfway through your day, stop, eyes closed, one hand on the heart, one on the belly. Breathe slowly for 90 seconds. Inhale steady, exhale a little longer. Scan. What's noisy? What's clear? Ask, what one small thing would serve this hour best? Choose one action, not a plan for the week, one concrete move you can make in 5 minutes. Do it. This is how you convert scattered energy into an aligned pulse. The weekly integration, 10 minutes that change trajectories. Pick a fixed time once a week, no devices. Answer 3 simple lines in a notebook. What surprised me this week? Where did resistance show up? What tiny next step is being asked of me? Write the step, then schedule it. This weekly habit trains you to notice the choreography of life instead of mistaking noise for instruction. The permission pause, a public shareable ritual. When you're about to post, decide, or step into something big, whisper, am I moving from force or from flow? If force answers, pause. If flow answers, move. Film a 10 to 12 second clip saying, moving from flow today, and tag one friend who overplans. It's short, human, and invites others to try the same pause. Viral ideas are small, relatable, and easy to copy. This hits all 3. Why these work? Timing is not just external, it's embodied. Neural coherence, the harmony between your heart and brain, makes your internal compass reliable. When your system is coherent, you notice micro opportunities the rest of the world calls coincidence. When it's noisy, you confuse momentum for progress. Flow is not an escape from responsibility. It's a smarter way to use your energy. Now, a story you can tell in a sentence and people will lean forward. A creator who planned every milestone for 5 years finally let one thing unfold slowly. She stopped forcing outreach, practiced the midday reset, and trusted a whisper to join a conversation she hadn't been invited to. That single conversation led to a collaboration that replaced months of noisy hustling. People share that because it's believable. Small practices, tiny trust, big realignment. Let's get tactical about timing signals, how to tell when to move and when to wait. Your body gives you a yes, no, the same way traffic lights do if you know how to read them. Yes, signs. Calm clarity, a gentle pull that repeats, a feeling of expansion in the chest or relief in the throat. No signs, constriction, pressure in the shoulders or gut. Racing thoughts that loop without landing. When you see yes signs, act in mini steps. When you hit no signs, treat them as red lights. Pause, breathe, recalibrate. This doesn't mean never take risks. It means you take smarter risks. Risks aligned with presence, not panic. Here's a tiny experiment, perfect for clips and comments. For the next 3 days, before any decision that matters, a message, a sign-up, a purchase, do the permission pause. Film one short clip of you doing it, or just comment below. Paused. People love simple tests they can do quickly and report back on. That's the basic social engineering of virality. Micro experiments that create quick feedback loops. Now, let's talk about the collective ripple. When enough people practice reception instead of chase, something subtle shifts in the cultural field. It's not mystical, it's behavioral contagion. When someone posts, "I trusted a whisper and it worked," others think, maybe I can do that too. That's why your tiny public acts matter. They aren't vanity. They're data for the people watching you, permission-laden invitations to try a different posture, a quick viral prompt for right now. Post a one-line story under this video. Today I paused and my star happened. Keep it short. Keep it true. One-sentence stories travel because they require little cognitive investment and promise a payoff. Curiosity. Curiosity makes people click, comment, and share. Prepare for friction. The world favors hustle narratives. Your friends, and sometimes your own habit brain, will push back. That's normal. When that friction hits, name it out loud. Say, "That's resistance." Then do a 60-second stop. Naming shrinks the charge and gives you agency. Also, guard against 2 common pitfalls, using flow as an excuse for avoidance, or treating stillness as magical rather than medicinal. Flow is not procrastination. It's not mystical bypass. It's disciplined receptivity combined with strategic action. That discipline is what allows flow to become sustainable, not intermittent. Finally, make this contagious. Teach one person the permission pause. Share a screenshot of your weekly integration notes. Tag a friend when you complete a whisper action. These tiny, repeatable social behaviors are what turn private practices into public movements. Before we close this section, a short call to action that actually helps. For the next hour, whenever you feel the urge to do something reactive, reply quickly, post impulsively, swipe away. Do the 60-second pause instead, then take the tiniest aligned action you can. If you do it, comment paused, acted. That two-word report becomes a chain reaction. People copy what they see working. Flow is not a destination, it's a muscle. The more you practice sensing and responding from alignment, the less often you'll waste energy on noise. Over time, life begins to feel like a conversation rather than a battlefield. That shift is not dramatic. It's cumulative, it's kind, and it's wildly contagious. You're reaching the place most people skip, the messier, truer work, integrating shadow, choosing honesty over performance, and learning how authentic expression actually amplifies what you call in. Authenticity is not yelling your whole life into the void. It's not unfiltered impulse or moral grandstanding. Authenticity is clarity, choosing what to say, when to say it, and why, from a deeper place than fear, approval, or habit. The world needs less of your polished persona and more of your honest presence. That's what makes your life feel meaningful and magnetic. Here's how to tell whether what you're about to say or do is authentic. A 3-check filter you can run in less than 10 seconds. Alignment. Does this feel true to me right now? Not to who I was or who I want others to think I am? Impact. Does this move things toward care, repair, or growth for me and others? Or does it recenter my ego? Integrity. Can I trace this choice back to a place of responsibility rather than reactivity? If it passes one or more of these, you're likely moving from depth. If it fails them all, it's probably ego performance or avoidance. Use that insight as permission to pause. Now, the shadow work. The part everyone says they want until it's uncomfortable. Your shadow is the collection of old survival strategies, unprocessed pain, and the parts you hide so you can belong. Authentic living doesn't erase the shadow, it integrates it. You don't have to love every part of yourself. You just need to stop letting the parts you dislike run the show. Practice. The naming ritual, 2 minutes. Write one short sentence naming a pattern you're tired of, e.g., I always shrink when praised, or I overwork to feel safe. Read it aloud once, breathe, then write one short line about how that pattern has tried to protect you. Naming creates distance. Distance creates choice. Post one sentence as a comment, not a detailed confession, just the pattern name. Public naming moves shame from private to collective, and when others read it, they feel less alone. That's virality grounded in vulnerability. Next, radical small step integration, daily. You don't heal by declarations. You heal by tiny, consistent acts. Pick one small corrective action for the week. If your pattern is hiding, invite one person into a tiny, honest sharing. If your pattern is overwork, schedule one true break and honor it. If your pattern is people-pleasing, say one clear no, and keep the rest of the explanation to yourself. Make it public in the smallest possible way. A one-line post, a story slide, a comment under this video. Short, raw, and replicable. That's how social momentum forms. People copy what they can imagine doing. Tiny acts are easy to imagine. Let me be blunt about consequences. Authentic living will disappoint some people. That's part of the clarity. When you stop editing yourself around others' comfort, you inevitably lose some fans and gain others who are aligned. That pruning is part of the design. It makes room for relationships and opportunities that truly fit. Now, a practical framework for speaking your truth without burning bridges. The 3-tone model. Truth. What you actually feel or want to say. Keep it concise. Tenderness. How you deliver it so the person hearing you can receive it. Territory. What you need is a next step. Boundary, time, change. Example. One line. I want to say I've been overwhelmed. Truth. I care about our relationship, and am sharing this so we can figure it out. Tenderness. I need 1 hour alone tonight, and a conversation tomorrow. Territory. That model is teachable, repeatable, and social friendly. Film a quick 10-second clip using the model and invite someone to try it. Short, practical, and helps people bypass performative arguments. Perfect for shares and stitches. Now, the morphic effect. Briefly, when you shift, you don't shift alone. Every authentic practice you do slightly nudges the field. It's less woo and more social physics. Your behavior reduces friction for others to try it. That's why public declarations matter. When you name a pattern, make a small, visible change, or report a tiny success, others see a template. That template is how movements form, simple actions that are easy to copy. So here's a simple, high-impact sequence you can do today to integrate authenticity and create social momentum. Name one pattern, 10 to 30 seconds. Post it as a one-line comment. Choose one tiny corrective action for the next 72 hours. Take it. Report back in one line. Took one step. Les pasos. That's it. The sequence is short enough to film or screenshot, and people love replicable formats. You'll get comments, replies, and likely a few DMs from people who tried the same. That feedback loop is what turns private work into shared culture. A real story, compressed. A creator who feared being too real started posting 30-second clip pattern names every week. Nobody cared at first. By week 4, one clip reached a person who needed that exact phrase. They replied, shared a story, and the creator connected with a collaborator who resonated deeply with the same wound. That one public, imperfect practice became the bridge to deeper work and audience that mattered. People shared because it felt human, not polished. That's your recipe. Now, let's make this practical for conversation and comments. Viral-ready prompts you can use right now. Type one short pattern you're releasing. I release Stop de la Sarm. One line. Try the 3-tone model in a 15-second video and tag one friend you trust. Drop one tiny result. I paused. This happened. Jaseks. Short, specific, curious. Guardrails. Don't weaponize authenticity. Don't use I'm being authentic as an excuse to be cruel. Authenticity without compassion is still ego. Use the 3-tone model to hold both truth and tenderness. Finally, an integration practice that combines breath, honesty, and small public accountability. The 3-minute loop. 1 minute. Breath with hand on heart. Conscious stopping. 1 minute. Write the pattern and one tiny corrective action. 1 minute. Post a one-line public note. Pattern and action. EUG, pattern, I overwork. Action, I'm taking a real lunch today. Do the loop twice this week. It's short, repeatable, and perfect for stories or comment threads. People copy what's doable. You're not being asked to fix your whole life in a day. You're being asked to start broadcasting a clearer signal, less static, more coherence, less polished persona, more honest presence, less chasing, more receiving. Each small, truthful act is a broadcast that rearranges the field, and when others copy it, the broadcast grows louder. If you're ready, name one pattern and one tiny action now. Type it below in one line, short, honest, viral ready. You're close to the center of this work now, the place where practices stop being tactics and start being a way of being. Welcome to quantum living, not a fringe idea, but a practical posture where you stop trying to get things from the outside and start allowing what's already moving through you to express. This is the place where surrender and action meet, and where your life stops being a project and becomes a composition. Here's the bedrock truth. At the deepest level, there is no separation between you and what you desire. It's not poetic, it's functional. Your desires are not foreign cargo you must haul in. They're seeds of your own consciousness asking to be expressed. The work is to create the conditions for them to sprout, not by forcing outcomes, but by tuning the soil, water, and light of your inner system. So, let's be practical about that tuning. There are 4 pillars that make quantum living feel safe, repeatable, and real. Alignment, surrender, calibration, and service. Together, they form a feedback loop that trains you to be the kind of person reality can meet. Pillar 1, alignment. Be a clear receiver. Alignment is about coherence between feeling, thought, and intention. It's less about wanting and more about readying. Here's how to practice it in 3 simple moves. Morning clarity. 1 minute, hands on heart and belly. I am available. Midday signal, 90 seconds reset. Ask, what would serve this hour? Nightline, one sentence. Today I received spast. These tiny rituals are the tuning fork for your attention. They tell your nervous system where to aim. When your inside matches your outside, your signal becomes legible to the field. Pillar 2. Surrender. Let go of the blueprint. Surrender here isn't weakness. It's a strategic release of attachment to outcome. You set intentions, then you let the exact how go. Practically, pick one desire and write 3 possible outcomes, including one that looks nothing like your plan. Read them aloud and say, I am open to any of these. Do this weekly. It trains you to hold desire without strangling it. The field can orchestrate far richer outcomes than your tidy plan, but only if you stop micromanaging. Pillar 3. Calibration. Listen to micro-feedback. Your life gives you ongoing data, micro-synchronicities, bodily nudges, repetitive patterns, recurring conversations. Treat these like experimental results, not fate. Keep a one-line log. Synchronicity or stesesbars action taken. 3 entries a week is enough. Over time, you'll spot meaningful patterns. The field rarely sends grand signs. It whispers. Calibration trains you to hear the language of those whispers. Pillar 4. Service. Let expression be the measure. Quantum living isn't self-centered. It's expressive. When you create from alignment, you naturally offer something that helps the world. Reframe your desire. Whom does it serve? Make a practice of asking before action. Who benefits from me having this? If the answer includes others, you're not just manifesting. You're contributing to a field that reciprocates. Service is what transforms personal gain into cultural change. Now, a short story you can use as a frame. There was an artist who wanted financial freedom. She tried every hustle tactic until she realized she wanted freedom to teach, not just to buy things. She stopped chasing numbers and began teaching one person a week for free to test what resonated. Her work clarified. Her audience grew. Her income followed. The field didn't answer the aim of money as a target. It answered the aim of expression. That pivot is the metric of quantum living. When your desire aligns with a contribution, the pathways multiply. Let's address common blockers, the places people stall and how to move through them. Blocker, control addiction. You think you need a plan because without it, you'll fall apart. Counter, micro surrenders. Choose one small outcome you will not control this week. Tell someone you won't control it. Public small surrenders work because they create tiny trust deposits in your system. Blocker, identity inertia. You're trying to manifest as the old version of you. Counter, identity rehearsal. Spend 5 minutes a day imagining one small action as the person you're becoming. Rehearse the voice, the posture, the choice. Acting into that identity rewires habits faster than thinking about it. Blocker. Fear of visible failure, being authentic invites loss. Counter. The shame protocol. When you fear judgment, pause. Name the fear out loud and perform one small corrective action that aligns with your truth. Publicly report it in one line. This turns vulnerability into social data and teaches your community that imperfection is acceptable. Now, a quick, repeatable set of practices you can use over the next 30 days. This is your condensed program. No extra purchases, no ceremony, just steady recalibration. 30-day quantum living. Template daily, 60-90 seconds. Morning availability, plus midday reset. Whisper, I am available. Thrice weekly, 2 to 3 minutes. Microlog of synchronicities and one tiny action taken in response. Weekly, 5 to 10 minutes. Surrender ritual. Write 3 outcomes, pick one to release. Monthly, 20 minutes. Public pulse. Share one-line story of a whisper you followed and one result. Why public? Because the social signal matters. Publicity doesn't mean performance. It means accountability and morphic influence. When you post one-line results, you give others low-friction permission to try. Low friction is how viral practices spread. Now, a short social challenge to seed your field. For the next 7 days, do the 60-90 practice and post one-line reports and comments. Day 1, paused, noticed. Bolas das abats. Keep it tight. Short reports make the experiment feel doable. Tag 3 friends to try and watch what happens. The more people who share tiny wins, the easier it becomes for the field to rearrange. Let's be honest about outcomes. Quantum living won't fix everything overnight. It does something better. It changes the way reality meets you. You'll notice nuance. Fewer frantic fixes, more correct doors opening, better timing, and the steady evaporation of desperation. Over months, your life will reframe from pursuit to participation. That shift is felt as breathing room, clearer decisions, and relationships that match your truth. Before this section closes, here's a short script you can say now to lock in the practice. I set this intention. I will be available to receive what furthers my growth and service. I will act on one whisper this week and release attachment to how it shows up. Say it aloud. Then leave one line in the comments. I said it. That simple public note is a micro contract with you and with the field. You're not being asked to become a new person overnight. You're invited to become a clearer version of who you already are. Start with readiness, move with small trust, calibrate with feedback, and let your expression serve others. Do that, and the world will begin to meet you differently. First truth, resistance is not a sign you failed. It's signal. Resistance shows where your edges are, what's still unintegrated, what story inside you hasn't been rewritten yet. Treat resistance like a radar ping, not a verdict. When it shows up, your job is to notice, not to moralize. 3-step protocol for when resistance hits. Do this in under 3 minutes. Name it fast. Say aloud, this is resistance. Breathe for 60 seconds with one hand on your heart. Slow in, slow out. Don't try to fix the feeling. Feel it. Take a corrective micro-action. 1-sentence message, 1 5-minute task, 1 tiny boundary. Do it before analysis starts. Why this works. Naming reduces shame, breathing resets your nervous system, and the micro-action rewires the habit loop from avoidance to agency. Repeat this protocol 3 times, and you'll notice resistance loses its grip. Now, the habit architecture, how to make the 60-second stop, the whisper action, and the weekly calibration become automatic. Habit stack for effortless practice. Trigger, your phone buzzes, you feel the urge to scroll, or a decision lands. Micro habit, 60-second pause with hand on heart. Plus, whisper, I am ready to receive. Reward. Write 1 short line in your notes app. Paused, noticed, la spotture. Even 1 word works. This small reward completes the loop and trains your brain to value the pause. Stack this pause onto an existing habit. Morning coffee, afternoon break, or the moment a meeting ends. When you piggyback, the new habit finds a home and sticks faster. That's basic behavioral design, low drama, high impact. Next, the resilience engine. Real transformation is messy. You will do the practice inconsistently. You will forget. When that happens, don't punish yourself. Use the recovery rhythm. Recovery rhythm, 3 actions when you fall off. Short report. Comment 1 line under this video. I slipped day X. Public tiny accountability is a shame reducer and a momentum restarter. 2-minute reset the next morning, 90 seconds breathing. Apul, write 1 intention, 2 small wins that day, 1 tiny boundary and 1 tiny yes to a whisper. Report both in a single line. Small wins rebuild trust faster than grand gestures. Stories stick. So, here's a template you can use to create a 1-line story that's easy to post, share, and mimic the exact units that spread on social platforms. I paused, noticed, Aussie did, Ospar, result, Ospar. Example, I paused, noticed fear, messaged a mentor, got a 10-minute call that changed my week. Short, causal, believable. People copy stories that feel replicable. How to use social momentum without performance. Micro-honesty beats polished perfection. Post 1 sentence about what you actually tried. Not a highlight reel? Make your posts frictionless. 1 sentence, 1 tagged friend, 1 tiny ask, e.g. Try the 60-sec pause and reply, paused. Celebrate small outcomes. Acknowledge micro shifts publicly. They encourage others to try. Now, a deeper reframing about setbacks. Every failure is data about calibration, not disproof of your path. Use the calibration log, a 1-line weekly entry. Signal, das missparen, jest action, ja, as klar outcome, ja, bar inspiring lesson, the arms are her. 3 entries a week for 6 weeks reveals real patterns. It transforms vague anxiety into concrete intelligence. Micro practices to reinforce identity change, do these in public-friendly ways. The one-word anchor. Pick one word that represents the person you're becoming, e.g., present, generous, courageous. Post it as a story or comment and check it before each choice. The tiny trust chain. Honor one whisper within 24 hours for 7 consecutive days. Post, day 1, acted through. Day 7, acted. Chains are contagious. The 2-line morning. Screenshot your 2-line morning intention. Line 1, availability. Line 2, 1 action. Share it. Simplicity scales. Virality mechanics. How this actually spreads. Simplicity. Short repeatable actions win. Visibility. Public micro-commitments invite imitation. Social proof. 1-line reports and tiny wins create a low-barrier experiment for others. Emotional payoff. Shareable content converts curiosity into participation. People want to feel like they gained something small and practical. Now the hardest thing, staying soft under pressure. When life demands results, the ego doubles down on effort. Your skill is to hold both. Keep moving when the path is clear, and stop when the system asks for reception. That paradox is the core competence of quantum living. Here's the final advanced practice, the 7-day field test day. Or Sauen. 1 to 3. Practice the 60-second pause every time you feel the urge to skip. Log 1 word after each pause. Example, paused, noticed calm. Day 4 to 5. Act on 1 whisper within 5 minutes. Log, whisper, acted. Day 6, do the permission. Pause before any decision over 50 or any significant interaction. Log 1 result. Day 7, public report. Post 1 sentence. Week test, paused X times, acted X times, noticed. Expa. Tag 1 friend to try week 2. The goal is not to prove anything. The goal is to collect living evidence that your signal changes outcomes. When you accumulate small, verifiable data points, the internal skeptic loses power. A practical closing. Make a tiny public micro-contract with yourself right now. Type 1 line below. I will pause for 60 seconds whenever I feel the urge to skip, starting today. Then actually do 1 pause before you finish watching this video and comment, done. That immediate action converts intention into momentum. One last reminder, this work is patient. It doesn't promise immediate fireworks. It offers a gradual reorganization of how your life meets you. The payoff is quieter. Fewer frantic fixes, clearer doors, relationships that fit, and the steady comfort of becoming someone whose presence invites the right things. Do the pause, do the whisper, report a tiny result, repeat. That loop is the engine, and when others copy it, the engine scales into a movement. You made it, the final section. This is the tidy package, the map, the shortcuts, and the simple social mechanics that turn private practice into public momentum. Read this as the last chapter and the first step. You don't need to do it all. Do one thing, repeat it, watch the field answer. Quick recap, the essentials you actually need. The 60-second pause. When your thumb starts to move, stop for 60 seconds. Hand on heart, breathe, whisper, I am ready to receive. Morning presence, 60s. Before your phone, hands on heart and belly. I am here, sets tone. Respond to whispers. When a gentle nudge appears, act within 5 minutes. Small, a message, a click, a yes. Midday reset, 90s. Recenter, ask, what would serve this hour? Do 1 5-minute action. Weekly calibration, log micro-synchronicities and 1 tiny response. 3 quick entries a week. These are not rituals for the altar, they're tools for clarity. Repeat them until the reflex changes. Now the final practical blueprint, 2 short programs you can choose from. Pick the one that fits your life and commit publicly to it. The minimal starter, 7-day field test, perfect if you're skeptical. Day 1 to 3. Do the 60-second pause every time you feel the urge to skip. Log one word after each pause. Day 4 to 5. Honor 2 whispers within 5 minutes. Log, whisper, acted. Day 6. Permission. Pause before any meaningful decision. Log 1 result. Day 7. Public micro report. 1 sentence and comments. Week test. Paused X times. Acted X times. Noticed. Despach. Auch. Tag 1 person. Why it works. Short habits. Immediate feedback. Social accountability. It's viral ready because it's easy to copy and quick to report. The Deep Starter 30-day quantum living template for steady transformation. Daily, morning presence, 60s. Plus, at least 2 60-second pauses. Whisper, I am available. Thrice weekly, midday reset, 90s. Plus, log 1 synchronicity and 1 tiny action. Weekly, surrender ritual. Write 3 possible outcomes for 1 desire and release attachment to the how. Monthly, post 1 one-line story. I trusted a whisper and this happened. Yaosils. Tag. 2 people. Why it works. Repetition builds coherence. Public posts seed the morphic field. 2 viral mechanics you must use. They scale everything. Micro commitments. Short. Public statements followed by tiny reports. Example. I will act on 1 whisper this week. Then comment done when you do. The simplicity invites imitation. One-line stories. I paused, noticed, decir, acted, result, or stay. This structure is short, believable, and easy for others to copy and share. Social proof builds momentum. Exact scripts you can copy and paste. Use them now. Comment prompt. 1 word. 1 word for what I want most. Das Power. Declaration. Tiny public contract. I will pause for 60s whenever I want to skip, starting today. Micro report format. Paused, noticed, ok, acted, result, ok. Whisper report. Whisper, acted, ok. These are engineered for comments, replies, and story slides. Use them. Watch traction. What to do when you hit pushback. Name it. Say aloud, this is resistance. Do the 60-second breathing reset. Take 1 tiny corrective action and post 1 line, slipped, reset, did. Now say. Public recovery lowers shame and invites others to recover too. Why public matters and how to do it without performance. Public sharing is not about clout. It's about lowering friction for others. When you type 1 honest line, you give a template. A low-effort experiment someone else can try. Keep it short. Keep it honest. Don't curate the highlight reel. The raw one-liners are the viral currency. A final mindset shift. The long game. You are not trying to win reality like a checklist. You are learning to become a clearer receiver. That means tolerance for messy growth, patience for small evidence, and willingness to let outcomes be smarter than your plan. The field responds to coherence, not control. Your job is to practice coherence in everyday moments. Immediate micro challenge. Do this now. Stop what you're doing, hand on heart. Breathe for 60 seconds. Whisper, I am ready to receive. In the comments below, post 1 line. Paused, noticed, wow. Keep it 1 short sentence. Tag 1 person who needs permission to stop chasing. This single loop converts theory into signal right now. If you do it, type done as your comment. If you don't, come back and try before the day ends. Parting invitation, small, public, and contagious. If anything in this series landed for you, make 1 tiny public commitment right now. Pick one of the templates above, 7-day or 30-day. Post your pledge in 1 line and report back in the same thread when you've completed day 1. When you make it visible, you hardwire it into your world and you offer a doorway for others. You don't need perfection, you need practice. You don't need dramatic proof, you need small evidences stacked over time. And you don't need to be loud to be effective. You need to be consistent, honest, and willing to act on the quiet cues. Do the pause, answer a whisper, post 1 tiny result. Share this with 1 person who will actually try it. Repeat. That loop is how new realities form. Quietly, persistently, together.